In the last video, we went through Down from His Glory, and we were using just the basic chords, your C, F, your G, A minor, D minor, and F minor. And we use these chords to play the song in such a way that someone who's listening can tell what song it is. So we play as far as So this is perfectly fine, but if you wanted to add more chords which are not part of what's written on the chord sheet, this is what this video will be explaining, how you can find those extra chords you can play. You may ask, why would you need extra chords when you've got your C, F, G, D minor, EDC, and all those chords are enough to play the song? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Playing a song is like telling a story. So someone could tell you the story of, let's say, the Three Little Pigs or any random story. But people will tell the same story in different ways. Some people will use more adjectives, more adverbs, and those kind of words to make the story more interesting and to make the story more graphic and to paint the picture more clearly in your mind. So good storytellers make you actually imagine the story and see it as if you were there. It's the same way with playing a song. Good players will play a song. They'll play the exact same song as everyone else, but they'll play it in a different way, which will engage and make everyone interested in listening to what they're playing. So this is why you need to learn the extra chords to the song, and this is what I'm going to be explaining in this video. So remember, you're telling the same story or you're playing the same song as everyone else, so your story doesn't change, the song doesn't change, the chords which I've shown you earlier on, they do not change. What you're doing is you're just adding extra chords and modifying bits of the song, but the main song doesn't change. People should still be able to hear what the song is. It just should be more interesting to hear the song being played. So there are two types of chords which you can play to make your song more advanced than just the basic version. The first type of chord are chord substitutions. Chord substitutions just take the chords that you already know, the chords that you already have, and substitute them with other chords, which can be the same chord but a higher chord extension or a different chord which sounds pretty close the same as the original chord. For example, in the last video we played the song playing a C chord like this, and then I showed you how you can take the G and play it here. Already that's a substitution of the simplest sort, which you can play on your C. And I also showed you how you can move one finger and change what's in between these fingers because they don't really matter. So I could play my C like this, and this is a chord substitution for the C. So I could play my song Down from His Glory, or I could get this one. This is just a random substitution that I've made up. So I could play like Down from His Glory. All I did was take this chord and move it all the way up. Same chord. And what I was doing was making sure that my top note follows the tune of the song. So I couldn't even use this one. I could use, let's say, this one. Sorry. Just play it in a way which sounds nice to you. There's no right or wrong answers, there's no rules. You have to be creative and do it the way you want to get it sounding. So I'll be quick. If you want to get a more detailed explanation on chord substitutions, check out the video which I've put in the link below called Higher Chord Extensions, where I go into great detail and explain what higher chord extensions are. Basically, what we're doing here is we're going to take our C and we're going to use a C 7th chord or a C 9th chord instead of our C. For the F, we do the same. With F, we play this F9, F7 or the F9 chord. For G, the same. G chord, we'll replace it with the G7 or G9. Same with the D chord, the D minor. We can add the D minor 7 or D minor 9. Same with the A minor 7, A minor 9. So coming back to the C9 chord, I told you about chord inversions in the first video. So we're going to invert this chord and we're going to take this B and play it here, and this D and play it here. So our chord will be like this. And because we've got a C in the bass, we'll take out this C in the right hand. So this will be our C. This is a chord substitution which we'll use in place of our C. We'll do the same with our F. That will be our F. This will be our G, and so on. So even for A minor, we can play this instead of our A minor. So as I say, there's no right or wrong answer, so I'll be using different substitutions in different places. Sometimes I might use the normal C, sometimes I might use this C, sometimes I might use a C which is this. You just have to vary the way you play and play the substitutions which sound nice to you. So coming back to this substitution, I told you earlier on in the last video that it's better not to play all the notes at once like this, but it's better to roll the chords. So I've got my C like this, so I could go like, what I was doing there was playing the notes one at a time instead of just all of them at the same time. Another way you could play the same chord would be to play this D note before you play the rest of the chord. So it would be like, and I do this with many of my chords. For example, C chord, I play this D. For G, for F. So what I'm doing there is just then so I'm just playing the same notes of the same chord but in just a different order at different times. So it just makes the way you play the chords sound much better. So this chord substitution. So if you check the PDF, what I've done is I've put the whole song and I've put chord substitutions for all the chords of the song. So if you check the PDF, you can start playing the song but using chord substitutions. Now we go to the second way you can add extra chords. The first one was chord substitutions. The second way is having passing chords. So of course the difference between the two is chord substitutions go and replace the chords that you already have in the song. So instead of down from his glory using the basic chords, we use chord substitutions to make the chords actually different, but we still got the same number of chords. We've just replaced them with other chords. Whereas passing chords go in between the chords that you already have and make the transition from one chord to the next sound much smoother. So instead of just going like my God and Savior came, I can go like, I played a whole lot of chords before I landed on my final chord. And for example, and Jesus was my God and Savior came, and Jesus was his name. I could go like my God and Savior came, and Jesus was his name. I played a whole lot of chords in between before I went back to my final destination. So these are what I'm going to be showing you right now. The extra chords that you can put in between the chords that you already have. The first and simplest passing chords that you can have are chords that I don't have a name for, but I just call them walk-up chords because I just make them up on the spot and all I'm doing is just walking up from one chord to the next. So for example, Down From His Glory starts from Down From His Glory. So the three chords are this C, this G, and then back to C. And from this C, I could play like Down From His Glory, but it doesn't sound as smooth. I could make it much smoother by walking down from the C to the G. So I could go like Down From His Glory. What I did there was just play the same chord until I got a G. The same thing which I could do, my God and Savior came, and Jesus was his name. That's from an F to a G to a C. So between the F and the G, I can play a chord which walks up to the G. My God and Savior came, and Jesus was his name. So instead of my God and Savior came, and Jesus was his name, I walked up from G to F sharp to F. So all I did was walk up. I just made up this chord which walks up from the C to the F, and Jesus was his name. What I did there was walk from the F to the C. My God and Savior came, and Jesus was his name. So F. Basically all you do is just take the chord you start with and just walk with it back to your final chord. So these are walk-up chords and you can make them up anywhere, any part of the song. And remember, you can, instead of just playing the chord like this, you can go like, play the notes one at a time and make it sound much fancier. The next type of extra chords that you can put in between the chords that you have, I'm gonna be calling them playing the neighboring chords. Remember, I've got a video in the description below which explains neighboring chords in detail. But basically what you do is, for example, my God and Savior came, we are on a my God and Savior came, it's on a G, and Jesus was his name. The first chord we go to is a G. Neighboring chords principle says that you can use any one of the neighbors to G before we go to the G. So if we're on a G, what are the neighbors to G? The neighbors to G are A flat is a neighbor, F sharp is a neighbor, F is a neighbor, A is also a neighbor. So I can play any one of these four chords before I go to the G. So I'll use the A flat. My God and Savior came. Or I can use the F sharp. My God and Savior came. Or I can use the F, or I can use the A. I'll use the A right now. My God and Savior came. So you can use any one of the neighbors before you get the G. Another example which is a chord I really like. At the start of the chorus, it goes like, oh, oh, how I love him, how I adore him. So it starts on a C, oh, how I love him, then how I adore him is on an A minor. So you're coming from a C to an A minor, and what are the neighbors to A? The neighbors are A flat, B flat, B, G. I can use any one of them, but my favorite is the B flat. So I can play that B flat before I go to the A. So I'll go like, oh, how I love him. That B flat, oh, how I love him. B flat, then I'm on my A. And it sounds better when you play the full chord. What I did there is just, instead of playing just a B flat, I doubled up that F here. And in my right hand, I'm playing the usual 1-5-8 in the scale of B flat. Then, how I adore him, how I adore him. So, oh, how I love him ends on A minor. How I adore him is now in D minor. What are the chords that I can play next to D minor? I've got my neighbors, I've got C, I've got C sharp, I've got E flat, I've got E. I like that C sharp there. It's very close to D. So how I adore him. So I played a C sharp minor. I could play a C sharp, I could play a C sharp minor. It doesn't really matter. Whichever one sounds better to you. You'll find as I go along that I mix my minors and my majors. So, oh, how I love him, B flat to A, then C sharp to D. How I adore him. So, sorry, it's on a D minor. C sharp minor to D minor. So these are the neighboring chords, how you can use neighboring chords, and I've got the whole song played with the examples of the neighboring chords that you can use. Remember, you just play it. There's no right or wrong answer, there's no rules, just play it the way you want it. If you want a full tutorial on neighboring chords, check out the video which I've told you about. It's in the description. But because of time, I'm going to go to the last method which you can use to get extra chords. The last one, I'm going to call it playing the fifth of your destination chord. Basically, there's two ways to find that fifth of your destination chord. You can either download a chart from the internet called the Circle of Fifths chart. Basically, that chart is very easy. I'm going to use the line in the chorus that goes, a man of sorrows, tears, and agony. It's a very simple line when you play the basic chords. It's from a C, sorrows, tears, and agony is on a G, then back to a C. A man of sorrows, tears, and agony. And if we are gonna use our circle of fifths charts, we know that we're gonna go from a C to a G. So on the circle of fifths chart, you find your G and you find the chord which is clockwise after the G. If you look at G on a circle of fifths, clockwise after you have a D. So you can play a D before your G. So a man of sorrows, tears, and agony. I played a D before the G. I could play a D minor as well. Remember, you can mix your minor and major if they are passing chords. A man of sorrows, tears, and agony. Then if we want to extend this further, between that C going to the D, there's still a gap and we can put in more chords. We could put in a chord which leads us to the D. What chord leads us to the D? If you look at the circle of fifths chart, clockwise after the D, we have an A. So we can play an A or an A minor before we go to the D, and the D or D minor will take us to the G. So we'll play the same line, a man of sorrows, tears, and agony. Man of sorrows, tears, and agony. Again, a man of sorrows, A minor, and agony, then D minor, then G, then back to C, agony. Then I'm going to show you another trick here to add more chords. Remember how you can have your A minor and A, and you can mix and use either of them. Right now I'm going to use both of them at the same time, and I'm going to do the same for my D minor. I'm going to play the D minor, then I'll play the D. So I'll play A minor and A, then D minor and D before I get to the G. So I'm gonna go like a man of sorrows, tears, and agony. Again, a man of sorrows, A minor and A, D minor, D, then G, then back to C. Then if you wanted to extend it before further before that A, you can look on the chart and see that an E leads you to an A. So we could use the E minor or E before the A. A man of sorrows, tears, and agony. What I did there was a man of sorrows, then E minor, then A minor, and agony, D minor, G, then C. Was the C, the E leads to an A, and the A leads to a D, and the D will lead to a G. You can take it as far as you want. It's just a matter of taste. Then if you don't have the circle of chart fifths, what do? What you could do is, remember you have to know your scales. We'll start from the beginning. We want to go from a C to a G, and we want to find the chord that we play before the G. So we take the G scale, which is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And we look for the fifth of G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fifth in the scale of G is a D. So we know that the D can be played before we go to the G. That's the same result we found from the chart, remember? So if we want to extend it further, we know the D will go to the G, but what can we play before the D? What leads us to the D? We'll take the D scale, and take the D scale, which is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and then D. And we take the fifth in the scale of D, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So an A will lead us to the D. This is the same result we found from the circle of fifths chart. So you can use the circle of fifths chart, or you can use the scales and take the fifth in the scale if you want to know what extra chord will be played before the chord, your destination chord. So these are the methods which you can use for finding what chords to play between, what chords to play as passing chords. Check out the PDF, which will have the full song with examples of passing chords which you can play, which lead up to whatever destination chord you'll be playing. And remember, instead of just playing them like this, you can play your chords in different ways. So I'm going to show you this way. A man of sorrows, we were like a man of sorrows, then A minor, tears, then D minor, then G for agony, agony. What we're going to do, which is a man of sorrows, tears, and agony. we're gonna change the way we play these chords. So we could go like A minor, sorrows, tears, and agony. What I did there, when I was on the A, I walked up the A. Remember, you can walk up chords and ended up on an A major chord. Remember the first time I showed you how you can have the A minor sorrows, A minor A. So instead of just having the A minor A, you can actually walk up until you have that A. Then D minor, then G, then back to C. You're gonna take it further. We're gonna walk the A to the A, then D minor, we're gonna walk it up to the D. Then G, then C. So A minor, sorrows, tears, and agony. Remember, before the A, we can play an E or E minor going to A. So we're gonna play that E walking up to the A E walking up to the A minor, then the A minor walking up to the A, then the D minor walking up to the D, then G. So I'll play it slowly. A minor, sorrows, tears, and okay, I'll do it again. This time I'll just start from the A minor walking up to the A, because it will look much clearer. A minor, sorrows, tears, and we're now on the A. I've got a D minor walking to the D. Again, A minor, sorrows, tears. Remember, when walking up, you're just walking up random chords. You don't really need to know the chord, as long as you end up on the A. Just walk up the same chord, same chord, same chord. Then D minor. Then walk up the same shape of the chord. Then a D. Then G. Then back to C. So if I do it fast, it will be again. So it's just a matter of choice and how many chords you can fit in between. You can play it whatever way you want. So this is the end of this part where I show you the passing chords and the extra chords you can have. In the next part, I'm going to show you how you can put everything together. And I'm going to be giving more examples using the same song.